And now you're standing there telling me that we would have found another way. That get the fuck out of here.
What's up? I'm Ashley, and we're going to break down from Season 3, Episode 2. Let's get into it. We start off with Jade and Victor at the station. They're inside with all of the sheep and the goats and whatnot, and you can tell they haven't slept all night, and they really don't even know what went down last night. And you can tell because when Jade finally gets up and walks towards the door, he tells Victor somebody has to go see. And once Jade gets to the barn, I bet he wished he could unsee it because he saw Tien Chen over there tore up, literally wide open. He's like, oh my God. And what's weird is Boyd is chanting something in Cantonese. And I said, when he learned how to speak that? But Jade goes over to Boyd and uncuffs him with the key that the monsters put in Boyd's pocket. Once Boyd is free, he runs over there to Tien Chen, grabs her, and he's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, sorry's not good enough. She is gone. While Boyd's over there hugging and apologizing to Tien Chen, Jade is over there peeking behind the pole. He can't believe it. Then we go to Kenny and Jim has found some cabbage outside that's been growing for God knows how long, and it's enough food to feed everyone back at home. And there's also a lake behind them. How did they not see this lake or the cabbage growing the day before is beyond me. But the main question is, who's out there growing this cabbage? And how is the cabbage able to grow when all of the other food is rotten? My guess is it must have something to do with those voodoo statues standing outside in front of those man-made houses. And I low-key don't even trust this cabbage. It could be poison. Henry has Tabitha held at gunpoint while they're both asleep on the couch. When they both wake up, we found out Tabitha passed out on his doorstep, and that's when he let her in the house. She gets up to try to leave, and that's when he points the gun at her and tells her she's not going nowhere. You showed up at my house with the same lunchbox my son left here with, and you're going to tell me where you got it from. That's when she gives him her name. Then she gives him a short recap of how her and her family got stuck in the town. Henry's like, where did you get the lunchbox? Tabitha's like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. He said, where'd you get this lunchbox? That's what she tells him. Victor gave it to her. He's like, oh, really? He gave it to you. How long ago? Tabitha tells him about 4 days ago, and that Victor is still alive. But Henry isn't believing her. He tells her, I called the police about 20 minutes ago. They'll be here any minute. So we're just going to sit here and wait. After Tabitha was begging him not to call the police, she's like, I know how to prove I'm not lying. Sarah goes to talk to Christy, and before Christy can even kick her out the door right, Sarah tells her Tien Chen died. She wasn't sure she had heard the news, and if she hadn't, she knew that she would want to know. After that, Sarah leaves, and that's when Marielle walks in, wanting to know who was at the door, and that's when Christy tells her about Tien Chen dying. We cut to Boyd and Jade pulling Tien Chen in this wagon while the whole town looks on. They take her to the church and they both bring her inside, lay her on the bed, and Boyd says we have to make sure she's buried with her husband. Before Boyd walks out the door, Jade says, you were in there with her, so how are you still alive? Boyd tells him, they wanted me to watch. When Boyd walks outside, he's having flashbacks of how the monsters killed Tien Chen. They didn't just rip her scalp off, they ripped the skin off her arms and her legs too. And I know we all saw that big old hole they left in her chest, had her out there with one shoe on. Where her other shoe go? While Boyd is having these flashbacks, here comes Donna running down the street. Boyd! Boyd! Is it true? Boyd! He doesn't answer her, so that's her answer right there. Then they go inside of the church. Then there goes Ethan talking about, I want to go see her. Christy can fix her. Julie's telling him it's not a good idea. She's trying to calm him down, but he's like, I want to give her blanket. I'm like, can somebody explain to this kid how death works? Then voila, here comes Victor walking through the door. He immediately goes in there and starts packing up his things. Ethan tells him, tell Julie we have to go help her. Julie is asking Victor for help, but he's like, no, I gotta go. While Victor is walking out the door, he's like, I can't stay here. Ethan is still begging Victor for help. He's like, we have to help her. Victor says, she's dead. Ethan, she is dead. You can't help her. People die here. It's not make-believe. I told you already. Bad things happen here. And Ethan's standing over there shocked like he never knew that before. Tabitha is trying to prove to Henry that she's telling the truth by pulling up articles of her and her family missing. Then she tells him about Boyd's family and then the Lou family. But he's not believing her. He don't believe her. He tells her if everybody is trapped, Then how did you make it out? But it's not until Tabitha mentions children being locked in the tower that makes him start to believe her. He then turns the police away and tells them he thought he had an intruder, but really it was a dog off the leash, and decides not to turn Tabitha in after she mentions these towers. He tells her there was never any bullets in that gun anyway, and he says he's going to make her something to eat. Donna wants to know what happened. Boyd lets her know it was an ambush and that the monsters let the animals out in the street because they knew we would go after them. Donna says, "How many of them did you save?" Boyd is confused. He's like, "What? What you mean?" She says, "How many did you save? Was it worth it? Risking everybody's life for an extra goat and a cow? How much better off are we today than we were yesterday? Huh?" So they're having a back and forth. Boyd tells her, "Those animals are all we have." She says, "No, we're all we have. These people here. Now we have one less family." Boyd says, "Now what was I supposed to do? Watch our only resource wander out into the woods? We would starve. What's wrong with you?" Donna said, "You could have found another way." Boyd said, "Another way? Another way? Just yesterday, you were talking about crawling through a hole because the crops had spoiled. And now you talking about I could have found another way. Another way? Get out of here." Shut her right on up. She's like, "You're right. You did what you could do. It was a game and you lost because the games here are rigged." Then she starts crying about how she can never go home after Boyd promised her that they'll be able to go home one day. Then she's like, "No, I'm okay. I'm just gonna go dress the cow before the meat spoils." A whole up and down of emotions. Fatima is in the bathroom throwing up over the toilet while Ellis is banging at the door. She's telling him she's fine, but he thinks they should go see Christy. Then when she stands up and looks at herself in the mirror, she notices that she has a tooth loose. So she reaches inside of her mouth and pulls it out. She's scared now. So she tells Ellis that, yeah, maybe we should go see Christy. So they go look for Christy, but Christy isn't there. Marielle lets them know that Christy went into town because of Tien Chen. They're like, "Okay, we'll leave and come back later," but Marielle insists on helping them. And Ellis is hesitant to even let her help them. She's like, "I'm a pediatric nurse, so if anyone knows about pregnancy, it's me." While Boyd and Christy are talking about how Boyd can't even remember whose truck this is in this pool, and Christy telling him what happened last night wasn't your fault, and Boyd telling her, "I don't need a pep talk," and she's like, "I'm gonna give you one anyway," Jim and Kenny return. And what makes it even worse is Kenny is so excited that they found some food. He's all like, "Look what we found." And everybody is looking at him like, uh-oh. They both notice that everyone is quiet. And that's when Kenny says, "Where's my mom?" He starts calling out for her. He turns and looks at the house. And as he keeps calling out for her, he realizes his mom is gone. Christy follows behind him while he walks to the diner. Once he's inside, he keeps saying, I'm okay, but really, he's not. He's just trying to make his own self believe it. Then he asks her where she's at, and she lets him know that she's at the church. He tells her, "I just need to sit here for a minute," so Christy sits down and waits with him. Marielle checks out Fatima, and Fatima lets her know she hasn't eaten in about 4 days and that she can't keep food down. Meanwhile, Ellis is still standing over there hesitant to even let Marielle help her. He's like, "Are you okay? Are you sure you're okay?" And I'm not sure why he's over there tripping so hard. Maybe it's because she was just having withdrawals or because she was just possessed. But pretty much Marielle lets her know that she just has really bad morning sickness and that everything's going to be okay. Oh, but it won't be. It's about to be RIP. We get back to Kenny and Christy at the diner, and Kenny is telling Christy about a saying his mother used to have, and it's, "No matter how bad it gets, we'll never have this day again." He wants to know if she suffered, and she suffered so bad Christy don't even want to answer that. He can tell, so he doesn't make her. But we all know she died a slow, painful death. RIP, she didn't deserve it. He tells her when he thinks about his dad, all he can think about is him lying there in the basement, and he doesn't want to have that same vision when it comes to his mother. So he asks Christy if she could make his mother look nice before he goes to see her. And once Christy leaves, the music box starts playing the song Celebrate. Talking about celebrate good times, come on. And that's definitely an evil entity rubbing it in Kenny's face that they killed his mother. He tries to turn off the music box, but he can't, so he ends up just destroying it. Julie is sitting on the couch when Jim comes home, and Jim tells her whatever she's feeling is okay. She said, "No, it's not. What's wrong with you? Ethan almost died last night, too. I was the fill-in parent when Thomas died, and I won't be that again. get it together. She walked out while he stood there looking stupid. We get back to Tabitha and Henry, and he tells Tabitha his wife started hearing voices right before she disappeared, and that there were children calling out for her that were locked in the tower, and tells her when she's done eating that he wants to show her something in the room. So then that's when he takes her to his kids' room, and that's when Tabitha picks up drawings that look familiar to the drawings that we've seen before. And this one has to be of Victor, his sister, and his mom and dad. Henry tells Tabitha everyone thought that he was the cause of their disappearance, but he never cared about that. He just keeps on thinking about the last thing he said to them, which was clean your room or no TV. He goes to work and then they were gone. He tells her, I don't know how you can know about the voices my wife heard, his lunchbox, or even faked those articles online. The only explanation is you're telling the truth and my son is alive. So if this is some kind of a joke, then you let me know right now. Tabitha assures him that this is not a joke and this is real. But my thing is, why isn't he asking about his daughter being alive? Why isn't he asking about her? Jade is sitting with Tien Chen because he doesn't want her to be alone, and besides, she made him tea. So when Christy walks in, that's when he says, I'll give you two some time, but Christy calls him back telling him that Kenny wants her to make her look nice before he sees her, but she's no mortician, she doesn't even know where to start. So Jade volunteers to help because he used to play dress up. But this ain't no dress up, they got a lot of work to do. She is toe up. Fatima tells Ellis to go be with his father because she's just going to go get in the bed anyway. And as she tries to go in the house, notice she can't get inside of the house. I wonder what's up with that. And did anybody else notice it? So since she can't get in the house, she starts talking to the girl who was mean to her when she wanted to go to the bathroom. The girl apologizes to her and tells her there was no need for all of that. She tells her that they're going to try to start composting the crops to see if they can get the soil turned around. She then takes some of the crops inside but leaves some still on the porch. And that's when Fatima thought the rotten crops looked good enough to eat. She started smelling them and she's like, ooh, it smells good too. She picks some up and starts to eat it. It tasted real good to her. So she decided to go hide over there in the corner and scarf it all down her face. I said, oh, girl. Now the baby about to have food poisoning. I heard about pregnancy cravings, but that's on a different level. Then there's Donna in the kitchen cutting up the cow that died. Then here goes Ethan. Victor? Victor? Have you seen Victor? She tells him, no, I haven't seen him. Then here Ethan goes again. Is that the cow that died last night? I've never seen how things look like inside. Is that how Tien Chen looked when she died? Boy, why are you here? Go somewhere. She was a little annoyed, but she held it in. Then he starts talking about how it's snowing outside and how Tien Chen would like it. At this point, Donna's thinking, okay, he's not going away. So she tries to come up with an idea and she's like, how about me and you? And before she can even get the sentence out, Ethan's like, I'm going to go home. Good. Bye. While Jade and Christy are cleaning up Tien Chen, Sarah walks in with one of Tien Chen's favorite dresses. Sarah tells them they used to play dress up when the diner was slow, and this dress is the one Tien Chen always liked to wear. She says this is the dress Tien Chen said she would wear when they all go home. So she just thought that maybe they would want to bury her in this dress. Boyd walks in on Kenny getting all the alcohol together because Kenny said he's going to burn every last one of them. Boyd says, why do you think this will work? Kenny says, we burned the last one, but Boyd reminds him that when they burned it, it was dead already. But if he wants to go down to the cave and burn them, then he'll go with him. They both get to the cave, and Kenny says Tabitha and Jade said that they were everywhere down there. But then Boyd says Jade said he saw a lot of disturbing things, but not one creature. Kenny wonders if they're still down there, and Boyd tells him maybe they all went somewhere else when Tabitha left. Boyd tells him if we both go inside, there's a strong chance we both won't come out, but I'll still go in there with you side by side. Kenny tells him he can't stop thinking about how scared and alone she was. Boyd tells him, but she wasn't alone. I was there and they made me watch. He says he couldn't help, but she was strong and brave and she didn't take her eyes off of him. Then Boyd tells him what she said in Cantonese. Kenny tells him it means take care of him. He'll be alone now. And Kenny is just crying even harder. I feel so bad for Kenny. I want Kenny to get his revenge. I don't know how he's gonna get it, but I'm rooting for him. And just when Jade and Christy are done with Tien Chen, Boyd and Kenny comes in to see his mother. But real quick, before Jade leaves the room, he tells Tien Chen she'll come with them when they go. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? Is he gonna dig her out the ground or what? Or is she gonna get cremated? Cause make it make sense. How's she gonna go with y'all? But Kenny has a moment with his mom, and it's really heartbreaking to watch. Then we get to Julie walking to the funeral, and while on her way there, she makes a stop to thank Sarah for saving them last night. She tells her that something happened to her the other day about her getting possessed. Sarah's like, yeah, I heard. The whole town heard. Julie continues to tell her she feels like the town is getting inside of her head and that she doesn't want to end up like her. Because remember, Sarah was over there trying to kill the boy. The whole thing with Kenny's father, and now she's ostracized. Sarah tells her she wouldn't want to end up like her either, and that she's always there if she ever wants to talk. Henry takes Tabitha down to his basement, and he tells her that he and Miranda used to be hippies back in the day, but that they gave up all the drinking and drugs when she got pregnant with Victor. But then on his 35th birthday, Miranda had an idea to take 2 hits of acid. And that's when the voices started and when she started to see things. He tells her she painted everything she saw. That's when Tabitha starts looking around the basement and she realizes she recognizes all of the paintings, just that she's seen it all in person. As she's walking around, she's saying to herself, I've seen that too. He describes to Tabitha what Miranda felt. He tells her Miranda felt like the town was everywhere, but that you couldn't find it even if you tried, and that it's somewhere you can stumble into from anywhere but can never find a way to leave. Meanwhile, Tabitha is over there freaking out. And while this scene is happening with Tabitha and Henry, it's overlapping with Tien Chen's funeral. So as he's talking to Tabitha, we see Ethan covering up Tien Chen with her blanket that he's been wanting to give her. And we just see everyone at the funeral. We get back inside of the basement, and Henry continues to tell Tabitha that Miranda used to say people were stuck in this town and could never escape, that it was a nightmare, but they were holding on to hope. She said she was the one who had been chosen to free the kids, but she wasn't the first to be chosen. Others were chosen before her, but they've all failed. Henry tells Tabitha, if the kids have called on you, then maybe you're the chosen one too. After the funeral, Boyd tells Ellis they need more answers and that he's going to need his help tomorrow. He says, okay, but with what? Boyd tells him, we're going to catch one of them. Man, it's about time. Julie, Ethan, and Jim are walking home. Ethan wants to know if they're still going to live there. Even though Tien Chen is gone, Jim says, I don't know, I'm not sure. Julie doesn't want to go inside. She says she's going to go check on the animals and see if they've been fed. Ethan's like, I'm going to go too. When Jim gets in the house, the phone rings. And I said, uh-oh, what the phone doing ringing? So when Jim answers the phone, the voice on the other side says, Dad, it's Thomas. I thought, ain't Thomas dead? What he doing on the phone? Then my second thought is the town playing tricks on him, because ain't no way Thomas can be on the phone. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that, and leave all your thoughts and theories down in the comments so we can talk about it. And if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.
Now you're standing there telling me that we would have found another way, that I should have